Welcome to the Austin All Day Podcast. I'm Jason Powers, and this is episode 16. We're here with Chef Richard of the Peached Tortilla, and his fiancée Jenny joins us as well. Thank you, everyone who's listening. I genuinely hope that you're enjoying these podcasts. If you haven't already, get on our Instagram page at Austin All Day Podcast. There you can see photos of the guests that come in the studio before the episode's actually uploaded. We've also created a Patreon page, so if you feel like showing some support for the podcast, it's greatly appreciated. So, you guys, sit back, grab a drink, and check it out. We're here with Chef Richard.
Yes.
And fiancée, Jenny. Yeah. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
How are you guys doing?
Pretty good, man. I mean, we're, me personally, I've been working my ass off trying to make sure that we're going to be successful with, we had the cookbook release earlier this week.
You have a lot happening.
Yeah. And so, we've been busy with a special menu for that. And then we have Mother's Day coming up on Sunday, and just still kind of...
I'm going to grab the cookbook here.
Yeah. Still just kind of trying to finish up our R&D so that we're ahead of the curve. That's the way I like to think about things, and that's the way I like for our kitchen to work and manage is just always be more than prepared, because there's always that day of thing that happens where you're like, oh shit, I didn't think about this.
Oh yeah.
Or you didn't try this out. And so you end up running, and when you start running, you might trip and you fall behind. And when that happens, you start service, and it just creates, there's just so much stress already going on with like a new menu and, you know, trying to execute new things and try stuff out that, you know, we know when to expect service. We know what time we open, but we also, you know, it's our job, it's our duty to be ahead of that, you know.
Yeah. So did you say new menu right now you guys are working on?
Yeah, so we have a new menu for Mother's Day, which is just
for brunch.
Yeah, just the prefix menu.
Oh, okay.
And so we're running it that one day. But yeah, there's like potential to use some of those new menu items for future reference, in the sense of like if we were to change up some of our brunch items. And then we have the cookbook menu, which is pulling from the book that you have right there in front of you.
I really like, so like there's a lot going on between Mother's Day and I mean, there's no strategical planning on when the cookbook is released, or is there?
So it just it ended up like all happening at once, which just seems to be the industry itself. It all always happens at once. And,
right.
You know, like I said, I don't like it to feel like a game of like catch up. You know, I want it to be smooth. I want everything to, like, the transitions to happen like nice and easy.
So let me interrupt you real quick. So Jenny, is this like a common theme is this how you are at home? Like, is that like a characteristic, or is that like a kitchen mentality?
Oh man.
Or are you kind of OCD? Because that's a little OCD
I
thing.
won't say dating or any. I guess we're still dating, but being with a chef is it's not for the weak.
Yeah.
You gotta. It's a constant. Like, he's always going 24/7.
I believe it.
So.
Well, it's also it is OCD. A lot of it is OCD, just
and that
because
trickles into your home life a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you have to maintain a mentality at work and outside of work.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, it definitely becomes a lifestyle. And like I said, I strive to be successful, and, you know, I also push Jenny to be successful, and like I want her to be great. And so part of that is just, you know, like I work hard and I try hard, and I know that she does too, and I want her to be successful and to feel successful. I mean, when you're around people who are successful and people who work hard, I think that kind of flows over, into your daily life. And, I'm proud of her in general. She works really hard and she supports me, and it makes me feel happy and comfortable. And it's hard to feel that sometimes in the industry. Yeah.
Yeah. I almost would go out on a limb and say it may be a little bit rare and very, very good and healthy to have that sort of support from, your partner.
I'm lucky. Like, I feel like the luckiest guy.
Well, there you go.
Aw.
And you guys are engaged.
Yes.
Yes.
Technically still dating. But
Yes,
engaged. You guys have a date and all that?
We do, yeah, November 2nd, so 6 months away.
6 months. And I know you go all over the place because I kind of want to touch base on what's happening in Peached Tortilla. But, we had a guy on here who he's in catering.
That is good whiskey.
It is very good whiskey. All right.
I just got my first taste.
a little bit like Jameson, but like really amplified.
Yeah, it's
in
nice.
quality.
No,
Yeah.
It's nice.
Do I have to try this?
You definitely can. Yeah.
Right.
She's not a whiskey girl.
I'm more
Try
of a
it.
vodka person.
You might like
Vodka
this.
soda person.
You might like this.
It's good though. I mean, it's smooth.
Yeah, it's
You
good.
can tell by her face.
Yeah.
I love it.
Reaction.
Just let it happen. Okay?
It's good, though. It's
Yeah.
good.
Let it settle in.
But I wanted to touch base on Peached Tortilla. Oh, with so we had a guy on here who was he's in catering and he got married and he arranged to actually cook the food during his wedding. Tell me that you're not thinking about that.
So, I mean,
His suggestion is clearly no. Enjoy your wedding.
well, no, I definitely, I hope that I don't, but in the back of my mind, I'm pretty sure that I'll have some of the legwork prepped. I'm not going to be serving the day of, obviously, but
his literal his quote was, he was like cleaning green beans the night before.
no,
Okay.
I'm not doing
Oh,
that.
no.
Okay.
That would
No, I
be
mean-
terrible.
Okay. Good.
I have
Enjoy. You guys get married. Enjoy it.
no,
Hire someone else to do that stuff.
I'm really lucky with the prep team that I have right now, and
They're going to
they-
take care of it. Social House or Peached Tortilla or
it's kind of a different split in the sense that the way that our system operates is that. Sorry, I had a burp.
oh, you're good.
The way that our system operates is that we do a lot of the like protein prep, like the big prep, and so
Oh, I know. I show up there during that process. It smells
yeah,
delicious.
every Monday.
yeah, it's very
Every
good.
Monday, 8 a.m. it starts over again, and
So good. Smells so good.
but yeah, so we cross utilize our product, and that's kind of how our system works, and
Cross utilize it like meaning you might use a stock from or like
So-
sauce or to create a
so
sauce.
in the sense of like, let's say like South by Southwest, like it's a huge event.
Yes.
There's a lot of logistics, a lot of planning going on.
And just
And-
noted that you guys get slaughtered for all these events. It's a normal
Yeah,
thing.
thankfully we're popular and people want our food, and
Yes.
so
yes.
like I said, the prep team takes on a lot, and the way it works is like we have a lot of meat prep to do, and so like there'll be weeks where it's like 250 pounds of brisket, 200 pounds of pork belly, 300 pieces of short ribs, 300 pieces of herb roasted chicken. Like it's just heavy proteins, and I think Social House manages a lot of like the sides and the vegetables and the prep like that, like the fresher produce.
Okay.
And so we do the big meat prep on Mondays, which is what you see when you come in. Like
Yeah.
you always see those 4 ovens are full of meat.
Yeah.
Like every time you come in, and
Not to mention how good it smells. It's awesome.
and so like I said, it's a big process, and you have to depend on your team. You have to depend on other people. You can't do it all alone. If you try and do it all alone, you kind of start to go crazy, I feel like. And I did that to myself a little bit.
Early on or when?
it's kind of like in waves. Like this week, there's a lot of stuff going on. We have the cookbook menu. We have Mother's Day. We have regular prep. We have a busy catering week.
Yeah.
So that's 4 different things already. We had someone quit last week, and so, like I said, when it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
As you can tell by the weather, how it's been in Austin.
Oh my goodness.
Lately.
But you see, but you have the benefit, you have a healthy relationship here, with your fiance. But like, it sounds like Peached Tortilla is pretty tight where you guys have a healthy, atmosphere there too, where you can feel that you can open up and depend on other people to carry the load. And then if you start carrying the load yourself, you start feeling like, you're carrying too much.
I don't think you can care too much. I think maybe you can stretch yourself too thin.
Yeah.
I think that's the reality and the feeling that can happen. But I really feel like we're a family at the Peached Tortilla. We, like, when I do start to feel like that, I know I can turn to like my operations manager, Beto, or, Cecilia, Roman, Mariana, Eric, the boss, the owner, the creator. I can turn to those people and like get advice, get help, and have support. So at the end of the day, we can't do this alone. We have to have a team.
Absolutely.
And I think the most important thing is having that bond, that unity, that family feeling. I see these guys more than I see my own family.
Right.
I see these guys daily, and I want them to feel the same way.
Yeah.
Like I don't want it to be like a one-way road. It's always a two-way road. Any way you look at any sort of situation, it can go either way. Like you are the person that you want to be, and you gotta take responsibility. I think that was like the hardest thing for me was when I was first starting in this industry. I was scared to take that responsibility, and now if I make a mistake, I'll just say like, I fucked up. It's my fault.
All right. Let me go off here real quick. You went to culinary school.
Yes.
When did you get involved with Peached Tortilla? Because they've not, if I'm correct, started with 1-2 food trucks.
Initially, when we started,
because you're the sous chef now.
I'm the executive sous chef of the Burnett location. So when I first came to Austin,
came to Austin from where? Real quick.
So I'm from North Texas.
North Texas,
very podunk, little hole in the wall town, Possum Kingdom Lake. That
named after the Toady song.
I fucking hate that. That's what everyone says. Like,
as
soon as I say Possum Kingdom Lake,
I swear I thought that was like a no one would know that question.
It's a real place.
It's a real question. That's like the hit song.
Yeah.
Okay. That's like
they play there still.
Okay. Right.
So yeah, that's the funny thing is like that's a reference point of where I'm from is like I have to say Possum Kingdom Lake because they don't know where Graham, Texas is. But every time I say
that whole album was about like it's like a theatrical theme where he like something involving a girl. Is it true?
That's the thing, man, is that it just kind of, I feel like it spiraled out of control, like the whole theory and thought behind it. And,
it's just some music on an album.
Yeah. And
okay.
And, it...
Don't tell me that. You're breaking my heart.
Everyone searches for that deeper meaning. But, so I'm from North Texas. My first job in the industry, I was 17 years old, and I worked at a country club doing dishes, and one of the chefs would start. Well, one of my chefs would let me cut the lettuce for salads, and that's how I first saw my way in. And I didn't really look at the industry, the service industry, in that way. Like, I didn't really truly believe I would be like a chef ever one day, or be a part of it. How how deeply involved I am now. And so
Yeah.
I went on to work at this other kitchen in my hometown, and one day I was like really, really frustrated at work, and I was cooking at the time. I was like the lead line cook at this restaurant, and a lot of our products were all frozen and not like, it wasn't the freshest product. It was just kind of like
Sure.
I guess you'd say like a Cisco ordering kind of system where, you know, we got all of our products in already pre-made. You just kind of reheat it.
Right. You said you're frustrated. What with work, with home, like with just life?
So at that point, I was just frustrated with my manager at the time, and I didn't know what I wanted in life at the time, and I was
You're young.
I was 19 at the time, and you know, I felt trapped in my hometown, and I knew I didn't want to live in my hometown forever. I didn't want to get trapped there because that's the way it felt. And I already had friends that were, you know, having kids, and it was either like you go to the oil field, you get a girl pregnant, or you go to jail, or you get addicted to drugs. Like that's what it felt like. Is
Good
what would
old
happen.
North Texas.
Yeah, and so
Okay.
I didn't want to fall into that, and
You know, that's similar to Mr. Michael Rowland.
He's from North Texas as well.
He didn't want to fall into that either.
Exactly.
You know,
And
okay.
Michael's a good guy.
Yeah.
I miss him. It was awesome working with him, and like
I want to touch base on that, but you got into the
so
you came to Austin.
well. So this one day in particular, I was really frustrated with my manager. He was just doing a bad job. He just was very disrespectful and not the kind of boss that I wanted to have. Like, I wasn't happy.
Sure.
And so I went outside, and it was weird because when I went outside, I had inquired to go to the Cordon Bleu, and I got a phone call when I went outside. And so
In Austin?
yeah, to come to Austin. And so I get this phone call, and I was like,
Yeah.
man, this is like, something is like,
Stars aligning.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's the universe is speaking to me, you know, kind of feeling. And
Yeah.
so I get this phone call, and I'm talking to an advisor, and then my manager comes out, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Oh, like yelling and screaming at me, and I'm like, "I'm quitting. Like, this is my 2 weeks notice right now."
Yeah.
And he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, no, like, I'm quitting. I'm giving you my 2 weeks notice. Like, I can't do this. I'm moving to Austin. And literally 4 weeks later, I'm living in Austin. So it just kind of like, it all happened at once. And, you know, I had friends that were already living here. And so I called my friend, and I was like, hey, man, when's your lease going up? He's like, oh, in like a month and a half. And
Yeah.
I'm like, man, like this is all just falling into place, you know? And so I moved to Austin 4 weeks later. I started going on the Cordon Bleu. I was working at Chipotle during my Le Cordon Bleu.
Up near the Domain?
Yeah, in the Arboretum area. And what's funny is that, once again, it's just kind of like the universe coming together. I met my best friend, Beto.
Okay.
And
he's now at the Peached Tortilla.
yeah, he's the operations manager. And so whenever I came to Austin, I drove back and forth from Austin for like 2 days straight. I was taking like a 5-hour drive, you know, every day. And I was just looking for a job. And so I got this job at Chipotle, and Beto had an interview that day. And I was like, oh, like, who's this guy? You know, and then school started the next week, and like I go into class, my first day of class, and like Beto's there again. I'm like, what? Like, so now we're working together, we're going to school together, and so naturally we start hanging out together. We start going out together, and like, you know, just living the Austin life, like young guys, young, good-looking guys. And
I'm just kidding.
and so
Very good looking.
But when you're, we're like, I know you're joking, but to expand on that, you guys are in culinary school.
Yeah.
You've made a life change. You're meeting this guy, he's cool.
Yeah, he's
and
from
you
El
guys,
Paso. Like,
but when you guys are going out, I mean, you're probably, I mean, when you're in culinary school, it opens up a whole new world of how you're thinking and looking at things.
it was, so the way I look at it, what's crazy to me is that, so we started off with 24 people in our class.
That's a lot, though.
Well,
in one class or like
yeah,
in the
one
whole
class.
Okay,
and so
that's a lot.
what was crazy is that by graduation there was like 8 of us.
Wow.
And to look at it now that we're 8 years down the road,
Sure.
I think there's only 2 other people I know that are still in the industry, like me, Beto, and these 2 other guys that I'm friends with on like Facebook, and I see like one of them is in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and one of them is here doing he's a catering person. But
That's interesting.
everyone just kind of falls off, I feel like. And
Well, you know what? Let me tell you, we've done 14 or so podcasts. This is 15, and a bunch of guys have gone to Le Cordon Bleu in Austin, and I've been so surprised because I had a similar experience. I went to Le Cordon Bleu in Chicago,
oh, really?
but I saw so many people like not go down the culinary path. Like they ended up anywhere else. I went to school there, but I ended up here. But like, so I had that experience that you're describing, and then when I came here, just through these few podcasts, I've had so many people that like keep up with people from school, or like, and I've been like kind of praising that Austin Le Cordon Bleu.
Yeah,
but I guess there's always different sides of how things work. You 24 people down to 8.
Yeah, and so it's weird because I think that whenever people, because like now Le Cordon Bleu is closing down, it's done, like it's a done deal, and
student loans are forgiven. We're good.
Are we?
No.
Damn it! I'm still paying that.
That'd be nice.
I know. Fingers crossed, people.
But no, the way I looked at it was like, man, like I came to Austin to like go to culinary school, and I was working at Chipotle at the time, and I wanted a way out of my hometown, and I wanted a way to I wanted to be successful. And when I was at Le Cordon Bleu, it was really funny. The way I got involved with the Peached Tortilla was so at the time, Eric, my boss, he was like having interviews at Le Cordon Bleu, and they had like some flyers posted on like the doors, and
he was recruiting from Le Cordon Bleu.
Well, so here's the weird thing is like, Eric had just started this company, this business, and like it was literally the groundwork, like just opening. And I remember I was trying to print my resume, and my resume was shit. I had nothing on it. I had nothing to like really.
There's a lot of people in your shoes there,
Yeah, but like I was hungry. I was hungry. I wanted to.
Impress
to do
I
something. I wanted to be a part of something. Like, at the time, like it was all about like Uchiko and Tyson Cole and chefs like that. And that was that era. And I remember I couldn't get the damn printer to work to print my resume, and they're like finishing up these interviews. And so I like run up there, and I'm talking to Eric and this other guy, Mark at the time, and I'm just kind of like, just give me an opportunity, a chance to just work, because I needed an externship. Like when you finish culinary school, you have to like do an externship, and that was like my opportunity to like. I had called different restaurants at the time, but none of the chefs gave me the time of the day to like. The opportunity to. So
you're down to the wire.
To work. Yeah, that's what I felt like. I felt very stressed out and nervous, and so I was just. It was nice that they interviewed me and they gave me the chance to like work for them, and you know, it was crazy back then. Like in the food truck, it was.
So you had that interview with him,
Yeah.
without your resume because you couldn't get it printed.
No, I got the resume.
Oh, you got it printed.
And I ran down the hall to like.
Okay.
I was like rushing to like get there because I forgot what time it was over. It was like 12:30 or 1:30, something like that. And you know, I just wanted to see if I would get hired or not. You know, honestly.
Yeah.
And,
but you did.
yeah. So they. I remember my stage shift. It was at Star Bar on the west side on West 6th, and you know, I was so nervous just because I was in culinary school and I didn't have like that great of knife skills, and
Yeah.
you know, I was just so green and so fresh, and like
It'd be
I was
very
scared.
intimidating walking into your first kitchen because, you know.
Well, it was a food truck.
Oh, it's a food
I walked
truck.
in the side door.
For a stage.
Yeah.
This
and,
is Peached Tortilla.
Yeah.
And you're staging. Okay.
Yeah. It was my first like stage shift, and it was like a Friday night. And
Either
there was
way,
two
nerves are
managers
going,
there.
right?
Well, so I was just trying to learn like how to cook. Like it was my first time being in a food truck, like cooking in a truck,
Yeah.
like a mobile vehicle.
Right.
And I remember the shift ended, like we closed down, you know, for their service, and I remember they were stuck in the mud. Like,
Literally.
Yeah, like stuck in the mud. What do you call them? The door guys, they were literally helping push the truck to like rock it to like get enough like momentum to like pull out of the mud. And I remember like standing out there, and I was like helping push the truck too. And then the lady that was driving the truck, she like gassed it, and when she gassed it, we got out of the mud,
my.
and they had a bus tub full of water for like cleaning the dishes. And the next thing I hear is like, fuck, like just like someone yell, because that bus tub didn't get put on the ground. And when she pulled out, she hopped off the curb, and the bus tub fell over, and it was just like the next thing I saw was just water pouring out of the food truck.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, man,
Good first stage.
this is the life, man.
Yeah.
And so I've had, from that point on, you know, I got hired on, and you know, I got trained by a Spanish guy. And he's still, to this day, like the fastest line cook I know.
Is he still?
Yeah, he works at the restaurant, and Tereso, he's a crazy guy, but he, like I said, he's the fastest line cook I know, and he's the one who taught me. He's like, oh, like Midway, it's like this, and like he's just doing 1,000 things at once, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I'm scared.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was really eye-opening, because I would go to culinary school, you know, and there were people there that just, I didn't see that. Like, I didn't understand that, like, there's this whole other side to the game.
Yeah.
You know, as to say, like how is it that I'm going to culinary school, and there's this guy over here that doesn't want to wash dishes. Like, he doesn't want to get his hands dirty, but he
Yeah.
wants to be called a chef, or like.
Well, culinary school is very, it's an education, you know, like it's very, in a way, textbook, like in a classroom, like here's your mise en place, you know, like
Yeah.
separated nicely. No one's like throwing a cutting board across the room, and like the you know, the bus tub of water is spilling.
Well, it's not, it to me, it was like, it's kind of like when you watch the Food Network or something, and like these chefs are like making dishes, and it's all ready to go, and
Right,
like
yeah.
you know, like it's all said and
Exactly.
done for you before the camera starts rolling.
Yeah.
And you know, I had to realize.
So when you watch the Food Network, you always think that when you watch that stuff, it drives you nuts.
well, for me, I don't know. I think I've
Who
become
did the prep there?
Well, Well, in my head, I always think I'm like, who's the guy like cutting that?
Yeah,
Like, who cut that? Like, I know that chef didn't cut that.
Right, I think that too.
Like,
Yeah.
who was this other dude like that cut all this stuff and prepped it all up, and he's not getting any recognition for it. And I think part
of what this podcast aims to do.
Yeah, no, exactly. And the thing for me is that from day one, when I first met Eric, he inspired me, and now it's 7.5 years later, and I've been with this company for a while now, and I've seen some crazy stuff go down. Like, it's been a crazy ride, but like through it all, what I've realized is like the hard work that my boss puts in and is still putting in, like daily, like the grind doesn't stop. Like you either do or you don't, kind of thing. Like,
yeah, it absolutely doesn't stop.
I think that's a product of just being successful, is you can't stop. Because if you take a day off, there's some other guy that didn't take that day off, and he's working harder on that day, and that could be your day. But
I think really it's been an interesting time to begin the podcast. If it were going on longer, and this were happening maybe, but we had Michael in here, and he's now at Bar Peached, and I know he was at Peached Tortilla.
Yeah.
We had Dylan, who was a pastry chef over at Social House.
Oh, really?
In the evenings. And then we had the release of the cookbook. And in this short time, I've learned about, Eric a little bit. But I can't even tell you.
He's a badass, man.
He's badass. And I'm truly happy right now. When you tell me where you came from and where you met, I was happy that you got in the door with Peached Tortilla. But to start where you started from and like to grow with the company, I mean, it's a great place to be. It's a good fit. It's really good people.
Yeah, man.
I can't tell you. Like, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it's like a weird fairy tale, but in the culinary sense.
It is. It really is. I love that you get North Texas. I'm fed up with this. I'm going to Austin, and here you are. You're working. I mean, I'm
working my ass off, but
you're going to be, right.
And when I first met him, like, I had no idea what the Peached Tortilla was.
Right.
Thanks.
I'm serious. He's the one that opened my eyes to everything. I mean, the only tacos. I'm from Rhode Island, so we're mostly Italian food where I'm from. So I knew nothing really about tacos, Asian food, like any of that, and it just blows my mind, like how interesting it is, and just the flavors.
Definitely, right?
It's really cool.
So Rhode Island, you come. When did you get to Austin?
13 years ago.
13 years ago.
I was like 19 years old.
Okay.
When I got here.
And you guys met. Because you came.
Funny story.
Yeah,
there's a few different variations of what actually.
You guys are both here. I'd like to hear something.
You can tell him. His is always right anyway, right?
No. There's this bar right up the road from Peached Tortilla on Burnett. It's called Aristocrat Lounge.
Okay, yeah.
And used to be Poodle Dog Lounge.
Yeah, like in the 70s.
It's like Pepto-Bismol pink.
I think I met my not future fiance there. Yeah, I remember that.
So it was a cold, dark, and dreary night.
Oh, whatever. No, it was windy though.
And like tonight.
Yeah.
Very, very reminiscent of tonight. So I just gotten done working, and I was at the bar. Like, I know the bartenders there, and they're good guys, and I was literally there just having a beer and like a shot of whiskey and just kind of having like a nightcap. And
he had his Peached Tortilla shirt on. I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably didn't look as good as I look right now, but
end of the shift, right? I mean, no one does.
So I was sitting there, and Jenny was like kind of catty corner from me, like with one of her friends and some other guy that her friend was with. Not, she wasn't. I didn't like take her from another guy.
Swoop her off her feet.
And well, I was sitting there, and she went outside to like smoke a cigarette or something like that, and I was like still sitting there, and she sat like one bar stool over from me, and at that point, well, no, it wasn't like she was like gonna come on to me or anything like that. Like it wasn't like she was approaching me, but I was like, I kept looking over at her, and I was like, man.
I mean, he thought I looked really good, I guess.
Yeah. So, well, I always remember she has this tattoo on her arm, and it's an arrow with an infinity symbol in it, and I was like, man, that's a
very
really
basic.
I was like, that's a really original tattoo. I've never seen that.
Okay.
Me being an asshole.
Oh, you were being sarcastic.
Yeah. And then she's like, she starts making fun of me, and so we literally, that's like the first time we met. Yeah,
that set the tone.
Well, then I was like, look at your tattoo. I mean, he's got a penguin tattoo on his wrist, so
I give it to the arrow.
So
Sorry.
she called me out, and I called her out, then she called me out, and then it was love from then on.
There you go. And penguins, they usually match up with one, right? So she called you out.
Yeah, she. I had to explain my love about penguins to her. No.
Well, now you need to explain it here. What?
No, I mean, I love penguins.
Really? Just got a thing for them?
Not like a fetish or anything like that. No, they, for me, they just represent, like, it's kind of like, they freeze their asses off out there, and they all huddle up to, like, kind of create, like, the group warmth so that they don't all die, right. And so there's just kind of, like, a lot of unity in there, and also the sense that the male takes care of the egg and the female goes and hunts. Kind of that dynamic, I think, works, and like there's
a family,
like a family.
Well, no, I think it's a beautiful thing.
You know what and what about the part where don't they like mate for life, or some of them?
Yeah,
they choose a partner.
Yeah,
they stay together, and like
that's the one thing that's always drawn me. I'll be like, oh, it's so sweet.
It is sweet,
right?
But now we're getting off subject. We're talking about penguins.
Yeah,
we are talking about penguins.
But yeah, to get back to the Peached Tortilla.
Well, you said you guys, when you met, you were getting off work. So is that at the brick and mortar?
Yeah.
Because I just want to rehash a little bit that you said it's almost like a culinary fairy tale.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It is. I love it too. I'm proud of. It's awesome.
You're proud of me?
I am. I can't. I'm proud of your journey, that you've come from, a place where you wanted to get out of something, and then you just like fit into this groove. Because I see where you are now, and like it's. I would never guess that your culinary career was so basically short-lived.
Yeah.
You've been with Peached Tortilla since the start.
I think the company had been going for about like a year and a half before I joined, but
you started you've seen so much with the company, and
man, like I've spilled daikon carrot slaw in my car, and that has fish sauce in it.
Oh,
and
God. You can still smell it, right?
Yeah, there's probably still a hint of it, like if you open up that one little drawer.
And how cool is it for you to go from Le Cordon Bleu, like a classic French training,
which I shouldn't have went to. I could have just.
Yeah, no, it's very true. You can learn most everything in the field, but you did that. But you go from there, like, and we've got the Peached Tortilla cookbook in front of me, and I've been going through this, and like, what you're doing now is just awesome.
Thank you.
The fusion, everything that you guys get to do, like, you must have learned way more with Peached Tortilla.
So what was crazy is, Eric has taught me so much, like, in the sense of, there's there's numbers, there's planning, there's ideas, but there's also like management and like managing people.
And he's dived into this with you.
Well, I mean, he's still teaching me. I feel like, you know, like
that's awesome.
It hasn't stopped, and you know, I'm still learning from him, and you know, it's been a crazy journey because when I first started, obviously all I was just like a line cook kind of person. Like, you know, I'd go walk on the truck and go to this location and, you know, serve food. And it felt different, you know, like I didn't feel like I was important or anything like that. And I think from that point to now, I feel a huge difference of like who I am and what
you've grown.
Exactly. Yeah. And I've matured, you know, it like as the company grew and like as things started to come together, you know, Eric never stopped. Like he never took a day off. Like he worked his fucking ass off, you know, and now like I'm starting to see like just the success of like what that does, you know, like you don't stop. The grind doesn't stop. Like, you know, it just keeps going, and you have to have that mentality or else you'll fall behind. And
yes. You know, that's the second time you said that. And I want to tell you that I think that's true, but do not be afraid to take a honeymoon with her when you guys get married, because the Peached Tortillas it's got a name for itself. I really think there's something to stand on here, and you deserve like that when it comes time for it. But you've said that, and I think that work ethic is very important. And you know, Michael was on the podcast, and you said that you kind of miss him.
Yeah,
but he had this. He's young too, and I'm going to tell you the same thing I told him, which I was not expecting. But like, you know, your career's pretty like it's. I mean, you've been going for a minute, and you've seen a lot happen, and you're exec sous chef over at Peached Tortilla. Michael's, you know, he's not too far along in his career, but you guys are in a good place.
Yeah.
Like I always ask, what's your future plans? Like, what do you want to open your own place? Are you looking at this? But like, you guys are with such a unique and cool company that it's like, I hope that your future plans are just to grow the Peached Tortilla and be like its roots.
Well, I think that's, for me, that's the way I feel, is that
you do. You feel connected to it?
Yeah, man. I mean,
Good.
I've been a part of this company for a long time, and I feel like a personal investment beyond like.
I think it's
beyond
unique.
Like clocking in and clocking out. Like I feel involved more than that.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like how would you say, like the passion, you know, the love behind it, like, and you know, it hurts whenever like someone quits, you know, like I want other people to grow, you know, I want people to be successful around me. Like I want, like with Michael, for example, when he first started, he had worked at the country club in North Texas, and
yeah,
you know, like his knife skills weren't the best. Like he was just young, and you know, he came on from like one of his friends who was doing catering, like serving, and you know, so he expressed interest in working on the line, like, and the restaurant is just like opening up, and you know, it was crazy to see like how someone can grow. And I feel like, to me, I feel like that's kind of the way I grew whenever, you know, I had my boss like telling me like how to do things, how to grow in general, you know. And
well, that opens your eyes to see
the potential.
And look for something in someone they might not have it that minute.
Yeah, man.
But they could become something else.
Yeah.
They may be a server.
Yeah, but you can teach, and you can maintain that like growth. You know, you can help people grow.
Right.
And that's why I say I miss Michael, because like he grew and like look at him now and like it's awesome.
I'm on the outside and I get to talk to you guys, all of you.
Yeah.
On a somewhat regular enough basis. But when I talk to him and monthly, I see you monthly,
like a period.
Yeah, it makes everything just smooth enough. We're not in each other's hair too often. But when I see him and I see you, and I've talked to him here and I'm talking to you, not only do I want to point out that it's unique, I think the situation you guys are in, and I'm very happy, and I think it's unique, and you guys should roll with this and and stay with this. I see, like when you say you miss him, it almost makes me like, aren't you guys like
Don't
connected?
Cry.
Yeah, well,
don't cry, please.
It makes me like, you guys got to either get back together and hang out, or because he was at Peached Tortilla.
He's coming to my wedding, so
okay, good.
That says something.
But you guys are all like under the same kind of umbrella.
I told you, it's
like what I said.
Family, man.
Yeah, when I'm looking in, I see a family.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I think that's like kind of part of the key to success is, being involved, obviously, and like working your fucking dick off every day, and
got to
having that grind go on. But on top of it is you have to have that, like, it's how would you say, keep that kind of just culture. You want that like clean, good, hardworking culture you want to harbor that so that everyone is happy at the end of the day. Like, I know that I'm working a lot, but also I'm proud of what I'm doing. Like it's beyond the feeling of this is just my job. Like it hurts me if somebody doesn't like my food, or like I know I
like an actual guest.
Yeah, no, yeah, like these fucking reviews that we get is like who's this asshole like saying that my cauliflower isn't good?
But I mean, so we really haven't talked a lot about reviews, but it's interesting that you bring that up because
no, it fucking sucks.
But it sucks. But like at the same time, I know that reviews will matter because people can read them. But everybody, I mean, at the end of the day, here you have a family, right? You guys care about your what, and I see, like I said, this is truly a unique situation where I think the future plans are you guys just rock Peached Tortilla hardcore and just make it big.
Yeah, man.
I think you guys can do that. But I'm saying when everybody's got a phone and they can take their picture and they can make their God, who was I talking to? Oh, I was talking to Phil from Counter Cafe about getting back on here because he's been on here. And he said that he was in Florida, something. I don't know all the details, but this guy opened this restaurant, and he had these big expectations because across the way there was like another big restaurant. He thought he was going to match them, and he had like I don't know all the ingredients, but it was like a mushroom burger with like blue cheese, right?
I fucking hate blue cheese.
So, but mushroom, blue cheese, this big old fancy vegetarian burger. Guy wrote a huge review, and it made an impact about how horrible the meat in the blue cheeseburger was. But it was a mushroom burger.
It was like a portobello or something.
Right. So the guy, so it was completely ignorant.
Badass mushroom.
Because
and
he
that's
didn't
what
even
I'm
know
saying.
what he was eating.
Sometimes for me, like I know what the Peached Tortilla has to offer. I know that if I went there, I would be excited through and through.
Well, and on top of it, the food is a huge part of it, but it's also the hospitality, the how we take care of our guests, and like
I don't doubt. I'm just trying to tell you that when you see those reviews, you got to consider the source. Everybody's got a phone, and there's a lot of people out there.
Who's this asshole? But
I think it may turn into that, a real saturated review market. So just don't worry about that shit. Don't worry about that shit. You guys have some serious... And the hospitality, I see photos. I've not been there, but I've been like thumbing through this, and I've seen like pictures of the restaurant with the servers out there.
Yeah.
There's Eric there, right?
That's him.
On the food truck. You guys still have, what, it's Big Betty or Big Bertha?
Bertha and Annie.
Bertha and Annie?
Yeah.
Do you still get shafted to get on those? Or
Man, I miss those days. And it was funny because of the rain and everything, we took 360 to come down here. And I was literally telling, like today on our way down here. And I told Jenny, I was like, yeah, we used to serve right there, and it was Plaza on the Lake.
Oh, yeah. Little trip down memory lane.
Well, then I was like, oh, we used to serve right there. Bizarre Voice, like Spiceworks, like.
Yeah.
And those, like, I still remember that stuff, and that was years ago and years ago. Like, it's been such a crazy ride, and, you know, it kind of still feels like it's all still beginning.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
It's still going, and you know, like to reference back to Teresa, the line cook, it was crazy because it was just me and him. Like there were so many shifts so the way my day worked would be I would get to work at like between 8 and 9 o'clock, and we're off of I-35 at this place called. What is it called?
It's like a commissary?
It was a commissary kitchen. I can't remember the name right now, but the truck was...
Oh, was it like Just Call a Chef or something?
Yeah. Just Dad Chef.
Just Dad Chef. Yeah. Okay.
Nah, Chica's Bonitas was right there.
Okay.
Like the nasty strip club.
Oh.
And then...
How nasty?
There's like the lingerie store, like Caesarean nasty. Like they had marks, scars. But anyways, my day would start. I would drive over to Just Add Chef, and you know, I would load up. I still remember it's 5 bus tubs of product, and so I would pull the meats, the sauces, the stuff for apple slaw, Asian slaw, daikon carrot slaw, the chicken, the pork belly, the brisket. And these were all in random places because, you know, Eric had to pay for, like, refrigerator space. That's how it worked, you know.
In the Just Have Chef.
Yeah. And, you know, we were making product out of there. And so we were, like, cooking pork belly and brisket. And, you know, it was a crazy situation, but I would load up all that product into bus tubs and then put it in my car and drive up to the first Pflugerville exit, and we'd go to Snappy Snacks. And Snappy Snacks was like, it's like a food truck rental place. And we would drive over there, or I would, and I would pull my car up to the food truck, open it up, put all the product in the truck, go park my car, come back. Teresa would be there at the time. Like, he would, like, show up, you know, for a shift. And then I would go purchase product, like, more product, drinks and stuff like that. And then I had to go walk across the lot to get ice. And it was this huge ice bin. It was a crazy ice bin, like... This, when I say like crazy ice bin big, like it was massive, and you could literally like walk into it, kind of thing. Like,
Jesus.
Well, the people running it weren't the best at times, and there was times where I was like, with this like crazy metal shovel, like hitting the ice on the top part,
oh god,
like dodging it, and it was falling down. And I'm like loading up literally a wheelbarrow full of ice to go throw on top of the drinks to, like, you know, keep them cold because that's the service. And so
it's that food truck life.
Well, that was my morning, and Teresa would show up and he would just start cooking, like getting anything ready, then I'm like trying to cook rice outside off this like little charge,
like a propane or something, or
no. So we had it. So we had a rice cooker.
Oh, okay.
But we had to plug it in.
Right.
But I also have to remember to like plug in the iPad so it's charged so that we can
ring people up.
Exactly.
Right.
And there was like one time where I realized that, you know, the iPad can't just sit out there, and it overheated one time and like it turned off on me, and I was just like, what the fuck do I do? Like, this iPad's dead. Like, what? Like, oh, like I'm fucked. And like,
what do you do?
You know, and well, I took it back inside to the
throw in the ice bin.
No, I put it in the food truck, and it cooled down, I guess, enough, and it turned back on. But I was running on like 10%. Like,
oh shit! Yeah.
I was like, man, I don't have enough time. Like, this thing's gonna die like midway through like a line of people coming in, and so it was literally a daily struggle of like one time the rice cooker, the breaker popped and the rice didn't cook, and so I open it and I'm like, like like the rice isn't cooked, like I have to leave right now, like kind of thing. And so then I'm literally plugging in the rice cooker during a shift, like cooking it to like make sure it's ready, because I don't want to serve like shitty rice ever.
Right.
Like
never. Right.
Like rice always has to be perfect. Like,
it's
you
true,
have no other choice.
If it's
like,
mushy, if
like,
it's not cooked,
yeah,
like,
it still like has that
just right.
weird chew.
Yeah.
And so like that was the daily grind. And like, you know, there are days where if the other person working didn't go to the bank and get money, then maybe like I didn't have a roll of quarters and I needed 2 rolls of quarters for the shift. And so I'd have to literally drive down the road, and I'd run to my car, drive down to the HEB, and this bank teller she like hated me because I would always be like in such a rush because I'm like behind right now.
Right. Like you can wait like everyone else, sweetheart.
That's exactly what it was like. And I was like, I need 2 rolls of quarters, please.
Yeah, I did that earlier today with something. I was in a rush. I told him, I said, I don't mean to be rude, but I got somewhere to go, and that did not help.
That makes it worse.
But I was trying to be like polite. I was trying to be like, I don't mean to be rude, but we got to get the show on the road. And they were just like, oh yeah,
I don't care.
I don't care. Right? I'm on the clock. We're going to take our sweet time here.
Yeah, and so that was like my daily occurrence, and that's
a grind, man. But when you say I missed 360 we used to be doing there, maybe that's just something in you ready to grow with the company. You know what I mean? Like, who knows what's coming next?
Well, I mean, if you break the numbers down of like running lunch service, and so like one last thing, I go back to Teresa. I keep mentioning him.
That's fucking awesome, man. He's a line cook who's killing it, right?
He's a madman.
He's a madman.
He's
crazy with a knife, right?
Well. So here's the thing.
Amongst
like,
other things.
So the crazy thing about Teresa is that it would be these shifts that it's literally just me and him. I would be front of the house, which in the sense of front of the house was like behind him, and he like, the way the food truck is set up, you walk in, you have 2 windows, then you turn around, and then you have your cold line, you have your hot line, you have your fryer, your flat top. And so the way it would work is that I would take orders and I would ring them in, and I would like cash out the food, like cash out everything and give them their change, and then he would literally have the food ready already, because he would listen to me taking the order.
Because madman. Right.
Because he's a badass.
Yes, that is a badass.
So I would be like, hey, Joe, how's it going? Good. What can I get you today? Oh, I'll take the lunch combo, chicken pad thai bowl with a order of Belgian fries. And Teresa would be listening to me as I'm saying it. And so as I'm saying it, he's already starting to like make it and put it together. And so it kind of became like this crazy game of like, I would try and take orders so quickly that he couldn't keep up, but he always kept up because
always.
I mean, there were days where it was like busy as fuck, but
I thought he might be Superman in disguise or something. Sorry.
I mean, he
sort of is.
He is, like I said, he's the fastest line cook I've known. And so yeah, it would be a thing where like I would be taking these orders, and as soon as I would put the ticket up, he was already pulling the ticket back down and putting it down, like,
because he's listening.
Yeah, and so he's just on point, like boom, 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 like ready, go, 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 like. And so that made me try and take orders faster, and I couldn't keep up with how fast he was going. And I think that's an amazing thing if that happens ever, because we would go to locations and it was just me and him, you know, and like it was that feeling of I would pull up in the truck, he'd be sitting like right next to me, and we would like slide the door open. I'd go outside, I'd open up the door, like the windows, the serving windows, get all my stuff in order, go back into the food truck, be like, listo, way? Listo. And like, we're ready. And then I would have like my little cash drawer, my iPad, like my little notepad to like write orders down. And it was like people would start showing up, and we're just order, and like we'd fucking kill it, man. Like kill it. Like it was amazing. Like, yeah. Like that feeling, like I remember we used to park illegally downtown against traffic.
You're good now.
And, well, no, it's like what I'm saying is like the grind of like I would literally, what was the name of that location? I can't remember the location, but it was like showing up to this location and literally doing a U-turn to park illegally so that the windows would open up on the right side of the road.
Right, yeah.
And that was for the customer. Like, that's hospitality to me. Like,
yeah. I'm
going to park illegally. I got ticketed. Like, this lady was like, she's like, I'm going to ticket you right now, like, if you don't move. And I'm like, what, like, lady, like, look at this line of people. Like, they want to eat. Like,
oh, that's unbelievable. Like, God, dude.
Like, no, like, do your job, but, like, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Just, like, I'll give you some food for free if you want.
Well, it's one thing if there's no line. But if there's a line and you ask that, I mean, come on.
We're popular. Like, that was, like, that, and that's part of the grind. But it, like I said, it was crazy because we would open those windows, and me and Tereso, I can't imagine how much food we've sold, like just me and him. Like, and that's 2 people out of 1 truck. Like, that's crazy, you know.
He's with you now at the Burn It.
Yeah. He's probably a little bit more crazy.
He's there when I go? I know him?
No, he's not there whenever you're there.
Okay.
He's
curious.
Line cook. He has spiky hair. He's a wild man, but like I said,
does he have a nickname?
Tereso, he goes by Tito. Yeah, we have a whole nother thing with him.
An altar. What's going on?
No, we started calling him Terry because he goes to some like gay hairdresser.
Oh yeah,
and
he gets a spike done.
Well, he didn't want to. The hairdresser didn't want to call him Tereso, and so he just started calling him Terry.
That's it.
He told us that story.
Terry.
Well, he told that story, and
more like you're. I am not calling you Tereso. You are Terry.
Yeah,
from this day forward.
Well, and so we literally were like, from now on, we're like, all right, Terry. And he hated it, but
oh shit.
Like I said, I have a huge respect for that guy, and like, you know, like he knows the grind more than anybody, in the sense of like being a line cook on the food truck, and
that's where he still is.
Yeah,
it's kind of what he likes that.
He was born for it, I guess. I mean,
there are certain types for that.
And you know, like I said, I told you about the food trucks, of like how we were operating like in the earlier days, and shit was crazy. I mean, there have been times where I'm driving down the road and I see smoke, and I look back, and the fryer is like turned on, because you shouldn't have the fryer turned on while you're driving.
Oh my God.
Well, the air was hitting it.
The oil's not in it.
Yes.
Oh,
it has to be in it.
The oil's in the fryer.
Yeah.
The fryer's on.
Well, it shouldn't be on. It should be turned off.
But in like, this scenario.
They forgot to turn it off.
Right.
And then like, what is that smell? And like look back while I'm driving, and there's smoke like billowing out, and it's like literally the pilot and the fryer like caught on fire. And it's just like I have to pull over on the side of the road and like put it out.
That's scary, right?
Yeah, I mean, I never really thought about the idea that, you know, there's literally a propane tank under me right now. Like if I got hit, if I got T-boned, I would blow up right now. You know?
No, I've had a fire on the truck I'm on, and it scared the crap out of me. I mean, like I was pouring water.
You had a generator in there too.
I have a generator. It was a very. I won't even go into details, but I do have a generator. It's a good generator. We were talking a lot about food trucks. It's interesting how these, like I've had, you know, catering back to back with another catering just by coincidence. And the guy last night, I know no one's heard it because it's not up yet, but I mean that'll change shortly. Yeah. But it was all about food trucks, and you're in here talking about, like he was talking about how it's really common for like generators to literally get stolen from food trucks. Have you heard that?
Yeah, well
that's news to me.
We have a lock on ours.
We never
ideal. Had one. Well, we had one stolen, but
you did.
We didn't have one stolen. Sorry, but we've always had a lock on like
for sure
our generators. But I feel like
on the generator itself.
Well, no. So there's like a whole way that these two food trucks were made, and like.
But you guys have some nicer. Well, I would assume some nicer trucks than the most of these guys.
So they're planned out like in the sense of the way that they're set up. Like the generator is going to be setting on the bottom left middle side. The propane tank's going to be right across on the other side, so that we can get propane. Yeah. You know, then our doors are going to open this way so that we can serve out that way.
Do you know what kind of generators you guys use on there? Is it a Cummins?
I think it is a Cummins. I actually had to go to Cummins a while, like years ago, to get our generator serviced, and
super expensive. Yeah. but they're worth it.
No, exactly.
They hold up. We were talking about that too.
Well, there's a time where our generator went out, and we had those like the little strap with the light on it, like cooking food.
Right. Like, you could have your phone out there too. They're just starting like.
Oh yeah, there have been so many times we put our phones up to like give us light so that we could like finish a service kind of thing, and you know that's the grind, and it's different for everybody, because you know it's kind of a weird thought when you think about being in a food truck. You don't have unlimited water.
Right. No. Right. It's totally different.
You don't have like all the water in the world. You can't just turn the faucet on.
Hell, you don't have all the propane in the world.
Exactly.
Right?
You don't have the gas either.
Right.
Depending on your generator and your truck. I mean,
that's true.
You got one of them's diesel, one of them is regular unleaded, and so it just kind of it's a crazy.
Big Bertha's the diesel.
Bertha is actually the unleaded.
Okay. Interesting.
And
but they all run, if you have gas or diesel or unleaded in the truck itself, will the generators run? Are they hooked up like that? Or are they hooked up separately?
So it's set up in the sense of we have like kind of like the breaker unit that it's connected to. And so what we do is we get a charge from the battery itself whenever we're charging the truck overnight.
Right.
You know, the truck is like plugged in. And so that's how we manage our power. And when we open for like a service, you know, the truck's not on. The generator
Generator's on.
But the generator is working with the alternator to like kind of like cross utilize the power
interesting. Okay.
You know, to keep it all running.
Right.
You know, because we have to have our lowboy going, the refrigerator system, all that working as well. So
yeah,
like I said, it's a weird logistics thing.
Well, let me ask you, and I'm just curious because, you know, he was talking a lot about luck last night, and it's interesting because Peached Tortilla started as a food truck, and now it's, I mean, we've got the cookbook in front of us, Bar Peached is there, it's got a catering. What do you think? Was luck a part of that? Or because your grind, what you're describing, you know, people were lined up waiting for your food.
No, I mean, in a sense, I think that luck does have part to do with it, like a part of it. But I really do believe that if you put your head down and just work hard, you start to see the results.
Yeah,
it's kind of like when you start going to the gym. You know, like you can only lift 20 pounds. You know, you go next week, you lift 2.5 more pounds. You know, then 5 years later, you're lifting 250 pounds.
Yeah,
you know, kind of idea.
That's a good analogy.
So I think it really boils down to how dedicated are you and how much are you willing to give up to be successful.
There you go.
I think that's what it is.
And you can be success can demand a lot. And you're fortunate right now. You're sous chef. You're in a good spot, I think, right? I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
And you've got fiance who, you know, you guys have a healthy, I mean, I want to touch on this a little bit because you guys, you know, you're going to go home after this and, you know, tomorrow, I don't know what it's actually like at home or with your hours, but like you got to work sometimes later than you think you're going to work.
Most of the time.
Let her talk about that.
So how do you as like not, you're in the service industry, but you're not in the culinary industry where you're getting tugged in each direction.
No, and I mean, there are, at the very beginning when we first got our place together, this is, you know, before we were engaged.
Yeah.
And for the first, like, I would say 2 weeks of us actually living, we got an apartment together.
Okay.
I pretty much set it all up. I was by myself for like, if that week just felt like the longest week ever because he had just accepted a new position with the company.
Right.
He was working crazy hours and he came home one night and I was just crying because I was like, is this how it's going to be? Like, I'm not going to see you. And he was like, you know, I'm doing it for us. And I think I always believe in him when he says that. Like, the thing about Richie that, you know, most people don't get to see is that, like, he has such a big heart. Like, he cares so much. Yeah. And he literally just wants, like, good for us, for other people, for his employees, for everybody. And I think that's why I love him so much and why, like, I stick by his side. And, you know, and it's not easy. And I'm sure there's a lot of other, you know, couples out there that wouldn't be able to make it through that. But I guess I'm kind of used to it now. Like,
you're used to it now, but it sounds like you saw, like, part of him that maybe not everybody's going to see. And you have an understanding. I mean, like, that's awesome. That's why he's in the position he is today. Because a sous chef.
Well, that's why I'm lucky. That's what I would say. That's why I'm lucky.
I'm going to agree with you. You're lucky. You have this woman here who understands you.
Yeah.
That's I said it's rare. It's great.
I think we're both lucky. Like we found each other at times that were.
You know what? I think
I'm luckier.
Luckier. I would say so.
I mean, it was.
You got
just,
stuck with him.
You know, but I just like from an outsider looking in, like I think that I never realized what being a chef was all about, and it really is like dedication.
That's so interesting,
and hard work. Like,
but you when you see that, and you have there's a cook, and there's a chef, and of course we have many cooks that might one day become chefs, but cooks, they have one type of mentality, and like when you said he's concerned about other people. He's already mentioned if a food goes out and the customer's not happy, that upsets him.
Yeah.
But that's like a chef's mentality.
Well, the difference between a cook and a chef is really going to care about that quality. It's quality all the way. Like even when we go to another restaurant and like, going out to eat with this guy is not easy. He's looking at every little thing. Yeah. Well, no, but you're very
talked
observant.
About this a little bit.
He's observant, and like.
But you can't help it, right? You can't. There's no off switch. You want to enjoy yourself, but when a plate comes out,
there really isn't an off switch. I feel like it's kind of a weird. It's a weird dynamic in the sense of like outside of work life, because I feel like Jenny's kind of scared to cook for me sometimes. She's like,
that's I think probably pretty common for her.
Well, and I like to cook. Like I really do.
She thinks her food isn't gonna be good, or like I'm gonna like overjudge like her food, and I'm not at all. Like
right. I'm sure like, you'll love a meal made for you, right?
Well, no, I'm the thing is like she can cook really good. Like she cooks.
There you go.
Awesome. Like it's great food, and she's always like, oh, like
that is a bonus.
I don't know if that's like good enough or like.
Well, no,
like,
he helps me. Like he'll tell me like this could have used, just to like give me pointers and tips.
I'd rather go sit on the couch.
Pointers.
Yeah, constructive
I'd rather go
pointers.
sit on the couch and watch TV while she's cooking. Because I'm like, man, this is nice just being able to like lay out on the couch and watch TV. And
so every day you cook for people. If you have a woman who cooks for you,
I'm the luckiest man on earth.
That's like paradise, right?
Yeah, no,
that's a little slice of that half hour, however long it takes. That's your little breather.
No, that's one of the greatest feelings ever. I feel like in this point of the game.
But to her, we've had somebody who had a mother, like they couldn't cook around their mom because they're Dylan. She was saying that she could obviously, but her mother, am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? Because somebody has so much experience, they're like, oh, I got to be doing this wrong. But at the end of the day, she was saying, my mom taught me how to cook. Just chill out. It's like everybody's got their own baggage.
Yeah, and it kind of comes down to just the confidence of what you're doing.
Oh yeah,
and it's really it's kind of a weird feeling to feel like I was telling Jenny on the ride down here, like the way I feel when if I'm trying out like a new menu idea or something that a new recipe. I get anxiety still, like doing something for the first time.
Sure.
Like that feeling is crazy to me just because I don't want to fail. But also the other half of me is like, you have to do it to understand like there's what like you're a doing balance. Wrong.
Like if there was no anxiety, something would be wrong.
Yeah. Like if you don't care, then I mean, it's not going to make a difference to like
no, that's yeah. But there's a cookbook now. You guys can. So do you guys
don't get too much anxiety from trying? Like you should look at the Laksa recipe.
Dude, I was looking through
intense.
this. I'm gonna. I got people to bounce stuff off of in here. There's a picture of the Ben Rider.
I'm
That's
still
beautiful.
scared to use this thing.
Oh yeah. Well, you should be.
I'm not
People
gonna do
love their
it.
fingers
No,
off
I
on
am
it.
not. It's above my sink, and I refuse. I'm like,
I got a good one.
We're talking about the Ben Rider mandolin.
Yeah, the mandolin.
the mandolin. No, I'm scared.
No, but I
I
mean,
told her it's so efficient. It's
like if you want to create beautiful food, you know, that you have to have a mandolin.
Yeah.
slice
just
those
like-
radishes thinly.
So take a radish and only go halfway. It'd be good.
I think I'll build up the confidence one of these days.
I saved this for you.
I want her to do it just because like the danger involved in it. Like you're like the mandolin is such a great thing to use, and it's so dangerous. But I had this chef during like the cool thing about culinary school. I would say the good thing out of it was that the chefs that were there that were training me, like teaching me, whatever, how you want to call it, I did learn some good little tricks, you know.
Sure.
And it's just kind of like
They stuck with you.
yeah, like there's still things I think about that, you know, they still ring true to this day, you know, kind of stuff. And the mandolin, for example, is like, if you're scared to do it again, like, don't do another slice. Like, if you already, like, you've sliced, like, more than 3/4 of this radish or potato, whatever, and you don't think you should do the next slice, don't do it.
Right.
And there was this, literally, it was like 2 months ago, in my head, I was like, no, like, you got enough out of it. Like, don't do it again. And I was
did it.
I did it.
And you cut yourself.
Exactly.
Added a little bit of iron into that dish.
Yeah, it's like
No.
When's the end? Like, when should you stop? That's what I'm scared of.
Shit.
No, and it was just funny because I like still ring true kind of feeling.
Yeah.
Like it was like, man, like
No, the
I shouldn't have
mandolin.
taken off that extra slice.
Yeah, that's funny. That is funny, right? Listen to your gut in that case.
Yeah, like.
But
I
you
was
know
like,
what's
I
funny?
can do it.
On the same note, I'll do that, but I was never taught that. But I'm like, oh, there we're good. And I look at it, there's like a huge, like an inch left. There's plenty of space. I'm like, all right, well, I'm not risking it. I'm not risking
confidence, man.
it. We'll cut that one up later. But
Yeah, just chop it up.
just chop it up. But mandolin is super, especially for what you're doing in this cookbook. That's no ironic that it's not ironic that this picture is here, right?
No,
it's almost like
I
a
mean,
necessity to have to cook some of this food.
I can't imagine how much daikon we've
Plowed
went
through, yeah.
Like there's been weeks where it's like 50 pounds.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
and
crazy.
We're running through bottles of fish sauce like crazy left and right.
That's
and,
also crazy because when you think of using fish sauce, you think real subtle, a little dab or
well, when you're doing
not when you're doing what you're doing.
30 quarts of like a daikon carrot slaw, it adds up, and like as soon as I say that number, my mind starts like breaking numbers down.
Yeah,
Like,
right. Yeah.
It's 12 cups per batch. I'm doing like, and my head just starts going crazy, kind of thing.
Yeah, excuse me. I tell you, I think the peach tortilla is kind of like ingrained in who you are right now. Same thing
Definitely.
for Michael Rowland. Like,
It's a lifestyle, man.
It's a lifestyle. I think it's great. I have to ask you, and it's interesting because you guys are both here, and you guys probably do this together. I hope. I ask everybody who comes on here. I call them hidden gems. If you go eat, where do you go eat? If you guys have a chance to go out right now, no work, whatever it is,
We might go out after this, actually.
go.
We actually gotta go eat.
Let's talk about it.
I would say a place that we go to pretty consistently is El Dorado Cafe.
Okay.
It's really, really yummy Mexican food.
El Dorado is good.
I have a Chinese place that's like a little hidden gem,
Go
and the
for
lady
it.
that works there is so nice.
Yeah,
What's her
she's
name?
A lovely little lady. little Chinese lady.
It's called Little China. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's like Chinese and Vietnamese. They do both. They do like a really good pho, and then they do.
I haven't had their pho, so I don't know.
Will you guys go there together?
We've been a few times.
I mean, together, I would say that El Dorado is the spot.
That's the spot?
Yeah.
Well, that we go to, like, together. Personally, I'm down with a Chick-fil-A sandwich if it's been a long night. And
yeah.
I like Chick-fil-A's, the service and how quick they are. And I think they do a good job.
But via 313 too, man, that pizza is like off the chain.
God, it really is.
So good.
Yeah, I would say.
Are you on board with that?
Via 313 is definitely.
Do you guys
up there?
You guys are north, so do you do like the food truck, or you do the new one on the east side, or 290?
We go to Guadalupe.
Okay,
yeah,
okay, that would
we're
be
over
closest.
right across from Wheatsville.
You guys could try the.
I took her to Patrizi's.
The catering? The food
Italian
truck?
Food truck.
Yeah.
With music and stuff?
Yeah.
How'd that work?
So.
God, I forget the chef's name over there. Nick?
Yeah.
Is that Nick?
Wow,
it's been so long.
Well, so, like, funny story is, like, he used to, I don't know if he still does or not, because we're not in the Just Add Chef kitchen, but I got to know him because he would come over.
Dude,
and,
he's cool.
like, no, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
And he would come over to the kitchen, and I'd be, like, working, and he would just, like, slice, like, a case of Roma tomatoes and roast them off. And, like, that's what he was using the kitchen for, was to just roast tomatoes to make sauce.
Yeah.
And he was, like, he was kind of, I don't know, I guess you kind of just got to be crazy to do this. In general, but he would always come in and like have a case of Roma tomatoes and like slice them all in half, and then put them on a sheet pan and like roast them all off. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing with that? And he's like, I'm making like tomato sauce. Like, he's like, I have to roast them.
Yeah.
And you know, like it's right down the road. Like, it's off of Manor.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally like maybe less than 10-minute drive. But I got to know him in that way.
And that's all he was doing in the commissary?
Yeah, that was it. Just roasting.
He probably
them.
goes through a ton of sauce though.
Yeah, it's an Italian kitchen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine.
So when you went over there, he recognized you?
He wasn't there.
He wasn't there.
His business has grown like crazy.
Oh,
honestly.
that's excellent. I started to keep up with him a couple of years ago. I actually haven't been over there in a while, but
they forgot our meatball. But
Yeah,
that's
no
fine.
meatball for us.
so where else? Where else do you go? Chick-fil-A. That's like the grand slam. That's a cop out.
What do you
Everybody
mean?
loves Chick-fil-A.
No, I mean that's
hope.
no, but we go to other places. That's like when we're being quick. Like sometimes we'll
But it's a damn good one.
No, so
Yeah.
I would say, so to like top the list off, it would be El Dorado, Via 313, like keeping it local, and then third place.
Oh, the place off of 180 Veracruz.
Yeah,
They're really good.
that's one of those places.
We've been there
that
several times.
They're in your shadow there.
So I would say Veracruz. Yeah,
They got their first brick and mortar up there on 183.
Yeah, and it's literally right there by us.
It's close
like,
to
right up
us,
the road.
yeah.
Oh, that's close to you guys.
Yeah,
They got
yeah.
the corporate caterers right there. If you ever been there,
Yeah,
Sure you've
it's
seen
literally
that.
right next to it. What is that?
yeah, they just corporate. What the
So
name implies,
weird.
corporate catering.
It just seems really shady. Like, I don't know if I
No, it looks
trust
shady
it.
because all the chefs drive the food themselves, right? Or like
That's weird.
It's just a small operation. I know the guy. It's a guy and his wife. They're good, and they got his brother in San Antonio. They're good people. They really
That's
are.
good. I'm
They
sure
travel
they're
and
good
They need to work on their branding.
oh yeah. Well, when you pull up, it's like a computer. It's like that.
Yeah, it's strange.
Here, I'm
They'll
dogging
get
myself.
there.
I was talking about that. I like my logo.
I actually really like your logo on it.
Is
that the thermometer? Like the thermometer?
Thank you. And let me ask the chef if you pick up anything else here. Because this is the first time I've had this in here.
Is that a radio?
It's kidding. A radio. What else do we notice about the radio? I feel like I have to meet elementary and spell this out to people.
I'll let Richie figure it out, but I already
Say
know.
It.
It's the knob, the little dial. It's like on a stove.
No, but it totally.
Or is it an oven? Oh, or is it a microwave?
No, yes, it is an oven. Yes.
Okay.
But it wasn't till now. But it is, because that's perfect. That's perfect. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about the radio station dial.
It's like a Bunsen burner.
No, what is the dial?
Oh, to turn the radio on, like in the car.
It's the temperature danger zone.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
The thermometer is the antenna.
But I did see. I knew the thermometer like right off the bat.
Okay.
I can't believe you did that.
Yes. Nobody's noticed because it's on social media and the picture's like that small on a phone. So nobody can see the 40 and the 140. And I know that there's variations with that number, but 40 and 140 is the general ballpark for the temperature danger zone.
Danger zone.
There you go. So now you see it, right?
Yeah.
You want to tune in to the temperature danger? All right. There you go.
I want to be right in the middle of it.
Right. Well, you got the thermometer, the whole.
I feel like you need that song from Top Gun now, like the Danger Zone song from Top Gun.
I love that. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's great. I can't even. I'm not even gonna try.
You want me to do it?
She actually can sing really good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I got the guitar right there.
No, she really can.
Oh, really?
She makes people cry. How beautiful. Not in a bad way, but like.
So what was like ballads, right?
I mean, I don't know. He thinks I can sing, I think, better than I can actually sing.
Just get a little bit closer there. Give me some...
do one thing, baby.
Do one thing.
What? Which song?
Just hit a note. Just
Brown Eyed Girl, Rod Stewart.
Highway to the danger zone.
Oh, you're right. She can sing.
Yeah, she's got the voice.
She hit every note there. That's beautiful.
That was awful.
Well, no, it wasn't.
She used to be
No, I sang for like 13 years. I was in choirs and did a quartet. And
oh, I get weird with things. I went out and started talking to every chef to come over here. I might be talking to you to come over and sing a song here.
She can belt it out.
I've actually always wanted to do that, but I just never did it.
I played all kinds of stuff.
We like to go to karaoke. Well, I like to sing karaoke.
It at karaoke.
Like it's like a fun hobby.
Okay.
Of
all
mine.
right. New question. What's the top karaoke song? What's the go-to?
Toni Braxton.
No, that's not my go-to. But
Whitney Houston.
people like that get forgotten.
Which one?
About. Like
the
Toni
Kevin
Braxton.
Costner one? The Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You?
Vocally, that is like an impossible song. I've tried.
Whitney Houston is amazing.
No, I could never. Yeah, it's insane. Like
She's tried it. She did a pretty good job.
I've tried a couple.
It's crazy.
There's a couple of singers that I cannot like. I will tell you, and people might laugh about this when they're going to listen to this, but Lady Gaga. She has her vocal range.
Did you guys go see Stars Born?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
And I respect the heck out of that woman, like vocally. Yeah. It's crazy.
I actually always, when people say Lady Gaga, I'm like, yeah, pop, whatever, okay. And then I saw A Star Is Born, and I was like, damn, that was
she's
cool.
Definitely like
she's got pipes.
Rock star.
She's cool.
Like, she's got like that. She has that. I guess not rock star, but like pop star kind of appeal.
Yeah,
she's kind of like the new age Madonna.
I have like a lower voice.
Like
she's very like pitchy, and I'm more like my voice is more slow, like alto. Like,
is it?
Like I could do more like Fleetwood Mac, like Bonnie Raitt. I could sing Bonnie Raitt really well.
And do you sing for him at home or no?
In the car sometimes.
Because you hold a tune, the note.
I'm telling you, man. Like she's undiscovered.
Oh Lord, I'm way too old for that now.
You think so?
No,
but
karaoke karaoke is always really fun for me because I can.
Where's the karaoke spot?
The Common Interest.
Okay.
Over off of Burnett. So
Nice.
we're north. But yeah, it's it's always something that
It's fun.
Yeah.
You know?
she turns heads.
Hell
So I have
yeah.
to say, like, that's a good thing.
Dude, you guys are gonna be like, oh, he wasn't kidding. When I call him, like, can she do this? I send you a little track.
Maybe we could do like a little tune for
Yes.
your podcast.
I'm totally serious. So
I mean,
Let's do
she's
it.
more than capable.
yeah, as we hear, we'll do a cover, like a reggae cover of "Highway to the Danger Zone."
Oh my God. Yes, that would be awesome. He has never seen Top Gun, and it is my favorite
I've
movie.
seen Top Gun, but in parts.
He's a Scientologist.
He is a
Yeah,
whack
that's
job,
weird.
but
There
I
is
mean,
a Scientology place up north there. Have you seen that?
Yeah, off of.
It's like by Billy's on.
It's across from the
I
the
can't-
nursery.
I can't handle
So
that.
weird to
Nursery
see.
there.
So weird to see that.
Well, there was one over off of campus that was there.
I don't
I
even
remember
know.
when I first came to Austin, I went over there, like in passing.
You were
and
like,
this guy
save
gave
me.
me like a brain
hope not.
test.
All I would
What,
say is
you
like,
went
don't
there
do it.
literally?
Well, I went. Well, like, I was just going into like
I didn't think that.
just to have fun.
Oh.
Like, it was
They
just
give you a
like,
brain test.
yeah, they put this thing on my head.
Like
and,
shaved your head. They're like,
They
Don't
put
move.
this thing on my head and were like reading my levels, like my energy levels or whatever.
No.
I can't. That's
and
like
they're
such
like,
cruel.
you're at
No.
this point, and like, it was like,
they're like, at this point, you're
was
gonna
a
owe us
joke.
money. And
You
if
should
you were
donate-
here, you'll make
you,
$100,000.
you should donate $50, but
That's
you're
the-
at the,
that was the reading.
$75 donation point.
Oh, shit.
But yeah, man, you're not putting all this on here, right?
I'm sure
No,
you're
we'll
gonna
see.
edit.
We'll see. No, but I will say, I'm very happy that both of you guys came.
Me too.
I
I'm glad
probably-
I got to tag along. I kind of invited myself.
Yeah.
I hope that's okay.
Now I love that. I love that. We've got, this is more or less of my inability to do a plug at the beginning of the podcast, but we've got Austin and Rosemary, who are also a couple who are going to come on. They've started a company called Spread & Co.
Okay.
And then we've got Cafe Blue out in Bee Cave.
I've heard that's really good.
So there's she actually has a brother who's a chef, and I wanted them to come on, and then he's like, no, go talk to my sister, because it's a brother and sister. So I go talk to the sister who's at Cafe Blue, and she's got a husband who's a chef, and they both are in totally different lines of chefery. So there you go. So they want to come on, but you guys are the first. And then you may know Edgar from Social House.
Yeah, I know that guy.
You know him.
Yeah.
So I talked to him, and he and his girlfriend opened something,
Yeah,
Nixta, and they want to come on. So I was like, okay, then everybody, literally at the start of May, was like, boom, boom, boom. And I was like, all right, well, then bring it.
That's
so
awesome.
you guys have christened it. You
once
popped
again,
the cherry.
Once
Yes.
again,
We're good to go.
Once again, we're ahead of the curve.
You are ahead of the curve. And this may very well all be in there because we're not leaving out the danger zone part.
No, we're
You can't do that to us.
No.
we got to come up with a jingle though. I think it should be more original to your title.
Like a Christmassy Austin
yeah,
all
like
day
a fun
thing.
little like
Yeah.
Austin all day.
There we
Culinary
go.
tales.
I am going to loop that and put it on like a delay that fades away.
Or like something like something more radio though, like Austin all day.
I like them all.
I don't know.
I like them all.
I'm telling you, man.
You'd be surprised
telling you,
what can
man.
happen on the audio end after we've got this in there. So
I'm
Heck
careful.
yeah. Let's
We
do
might
it.
have all we need now.
I'm down.
But Chef Richard, thank
Yes,
you
sir.
for coming.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. Cheers. Good whiskey. I wasn't lying.
Yeah, you weren't lying.
And you guys, good luck. Seriously,
Thank you.
wedding November?
November 2nd.
November 2nd.
Right,
Congratulations.
Thank
Whenever
you.
I see him, I'll get him prepared. I'm serious though. Genuine thank you guys for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. You guys be good.
Yeah, man.